Hey guys, it's Morgan, and it's August, so that means it's officially Breastfeeding Awareness Month. So I've been collecting questions and myths that people have about breastfeeding on my Ask and Instagram and Twitter. And so today I'm going to be doing a video about them and answering them and talking about them and my personal, intake and views and all of that on them. Okay, so first, somebody wanted me to talk about the beginning of breastfeeding, like in the beginning when newborns. What do you do if they aren't latching or if the pain is unbearable? What I did was, while I was in the hospital, I had some nurses who weren't lactation consultants but were very pro breastfeeding and extremely helpful. Anytime, it didn't matter what time of day or night it was, I needed help. Anytime she wanted to eat, I would press the little buzzer, I'd call somebody in and I'd say, I need help latching. They'd come in, and one woman, she sat there with me for 20 minutes while I fought my baby to latch. I swear that is the best thing I had ever done. All of the different nurses had different opinions and different techniques and all of that, so it was very helpful getting all of those techniques and stuff from the different people and all of their help. They would work with you until you got it. It didn't matter how long it took. It was very helpful. They never suggested formula. They never said, well, why don't you take a break? And that was extremely helpful, and I'm very thankful for that because I'm not sure I would have made it this far without them. Or if the pain is really bad. The pain is bad. I'm not going to lie. But sorry, my stupid phone. I have it set up, but it's slipping. Okay. The pain is really bad, but to be honest, it's bearable. Especially after going through labor, it's not that bad. I was pretty dedicated, educated beforehand, and told that it was going to be painful. So if you just prepare yourself, I think that's very important. Also, some things that I really liked is I had heard that if you took breast milk and expressed it and put it on your nipples and let it air dry, that really, really helps. It cools it. It feels so good. Also, they have these little gel pad things that they gave me while I was there. I went and got more later on. They're little pads with gel on them, and they are kind of sticky, and you just stick them to your nipples, and they cool. Oh my gosh, those things feel so good. While you were in the hospital, I'm telling you, you better stock up on everything they will give you. If you tell them that you're in unbearable pain, they will help you. I also tried some nipple creams, but I didn't use them very often. Although when I did use them, they were very helpful. How long do you feed until you burp them? I fed Cadence until she would fall asleep or just unlatch. So, to be honest, back then when I was in the hospital and when she was a newborn, it was so fuzzy I barely remember how long that was. But once she unlatched, where I could tell that she was slowing down, not really eating, just kind of sucking or falling asleep, I would pick her up and burp her, and she had really bad gas. So I had to burp her several different ways to actually get her to burp. She would spit up a lot. It was not fun. How much weight should a breastfed baby gain? I like this question because people want to criticize me and say that Cadence is underweight or malnourished, and that's not true at all. Cadence was born at 6 pounds 7 ounces and left the hospital at 6 pounds. My pediatrician told me that breastfed babies should gain about a pound a month. She is 10 months old and weighs 17 pounds. Do the math. She is perfectly healthy. But every baby is different. Every pediatrician will say something different, so you should definitely talk to your pediatrician about that. As long as your baby is gaining weight, though, that's good. If breastfeeding is normal and natural, then why is it something to always talk about and take pictures of? It's a normal thing to feed your baby, not something that deserves praise and pictures. I'm not entirely sure if this question was for this video, but I don't care. I'm going to answer it on the video anyway. Obviously, since I get a lot of hate for breastfeeding, and many people do, it's not normalized. If it was normalized, people wouldn't get dirty looks or told to cover themselves while they are feeding in public. It's obviously not normalized, which is sad because it is normal. It's the most natural thing you can do for your child. You wouldn't see a formula feeding mother cover her child with a blanket. I mean, I personally do use a cover, especially in crowded places, or if I have to lift up my shirt and my sides are showing or something like that. I use a cover, but I don't think it's a big deal if you don't. It's not sexual, it's not nasty, it's not bad. So the reason many mothers who breastfeed take pictures and talk about it a lot is, one, because they're passionate about it. I am passionate about it, and I love it. I want to talk to other people about it. I like to talk to other people about it. It's just a beautiful thing. People take pictures because they want people to get used to seeing it. People get used to seeing half-naked women on billboards all over a city, but somebody whips out a boob and feeds their children, and it's a big deal. I think that's wrong, and that's why it needs to be normalized, and that's why people take pictures of it, not to get attention. Sorry. How do you feel about moms who didn't try to breastfeed because of depression? I feel like every mother should at least try. There's really no reason you can't try unless medication or medical reasons. And I do not think that, I don't think that depression is a medical reason you shouldn't breastfeed, because if you were to look it up and research a little bit more, talk to your doctor, when you breastfeed, you release hormones into your body, which is similar to dopamine, not similar to dopamine, you release dopamine, and other feel-good emotions. Sorry. So, actually, breastfeeding has shown to help with postpartum depression and other things, although I do know that sometimes it can hurt and does not make it better. A lot of the times it does, because it relaxes you, it makes you feel better. It just scientifically does. Although that doesn't work for everybody. It did work for me. I had a very tough month after I had Cadence. I was very emotional, all the hormones and stuff, but breastfeeding definitely helped. Where was I? Okay. What's your best advice about breastfeeding to a new mom, or some useful tips? My best advice is to use all the help you can get all the help you can get while you're in the hospital. Anytime you need help, anytime you have a question, even if it sounds stupid or you're embarrassed, don't be embarrassed, don't feel stupid, ask it. Because you will regret it later when you're having to give up or you're crying because you can't get your baby to latch. I learned so many techniques and tips from just the nurses, not even the lactation consultant, but the nurses alone. You can talk to them and they will help you for free. Just while you're right there, they will show you how to do it. Don't be embarrassed. I was kind of embarrassed and it felt awkward at first when some crazy woman was grabbing my boob, putting it in my baby's mouth, but I mean, it was worth it. Okay. Sorry. Does it hurt? Yes, it hurts. Can you formula feed and breastfeed? Yes, you can, but most mothers who end up supplementing also end up quitting. I think a lot of mothers do it because they think their baby's not getting enough, and 99% of the time your baby is getting enough. So I think you should definitely be very careful when you introduce formula, if you do, because it can ruin your breastfeeding relationship. Is it hard? Yes, it is hard. People want to say that breastfeeding is so easy, you just put your boob in their mouth. It's not easy, especially in the beginning. Getting your child to latch is one of the hardest things. It is painful, it is frustrating, it is tiring, but it is so worth it. How do you feel comfortable nursing in public? It's kind of just depends on you. I was very self-conscious before I had Cadence and during my pregnancy, but afterwards, breastfeeding made me feel empowered. It made me feel beautiful, and it made me feel like I was using my body for what it was supposed to be used for. And that really helped my confidence, especially feeding in public. At first, I would not go anywhere without my cover. If I was at Matt's house and people were over, I would use my cover. If his parents were around, I'd use my cover. Around my brother and sister, I'd use my cover. Now I just whip it out. It takes a while to get used to not seeing your body as something sexual anymore, but something for feeding. How often should I alternate breasts? I feed Cadence at night. She only drinks from one, and then the next time she wakes up, if she wakes up, I feed her from the other. But during the day, if she drinks from one and it's pretty much empty and she's still kind of hungry, I'll feed her on the other. But if not, I'll feed her on one, and then the next feeding I'll feed on the other. If you do not want lopsided boobs, then you should definitely alternate every time you feed. Does smoking affect breast milk? Yes, smoking does affect your breast milk. Just like any other, kind of like your blood strain, if you think about it like that. If you smoke marijuana and you take a piss test, it'll come up. If you smoke marijuana and they test your breast milk, it'll come up. It's similar. There's not as much in it, but when you smoke cigarettes, the nicotine does get into your breast milk. Although breastfeeding while smoking is still better than formula feeding. Okay, now these are some myths that I want to talk about. Do your boobs get saggy? No, mine haven't gotten saggy, although I haven't stopped, so they might. Skipping feeding increases milk supply. That is not true at all. That decreases your milk supply. Increasing your milk supply, the best way is to empty both breasts. Oh my gosh, stupid camera. The best way is to empty both breasts. Feed on one side as long as possible until you let down and you think that you are empty. When you express, nothing comes out. That is telling your body that you need to produce more. If you do not empty both breasts, or one breast, or whatever, if you don't empty, your body won't know to make more. So the best way to increase milk supply is not to skip feedings. That decreases. If you breastfeed, you will have no life, or you will be too attached to the baby. That's not true at all. You can always pump. There are times, like I only feed Cadence every 3.5, 4 hours during the day. So I can leave for 4 hours, come back, feed her, leave again for 4 if I really wanted to. There's pumping. There's all sorts of, when they're newborn, obviously they're going to drink a lot more, but it does not mean that you have no life. You can definitely pump and express. Lots of people pump, go back to work, go out with their friends, whatever. Many women don't produce enough. That is not true at all. 99% of women, this is from La Leche League, I think that's how you pronounce it, their website, I read this there, so 99% of women produce enough milk. The problems that people have is they think they're not producing, they don't know how to, they don't empty both breasts, so then they do start to decrease their supply. They start introducing formula, so their breast milk supply goes down, things like that. Every woman can produce milk. Every woman can produce enough. It's just depends on your situation and what you're personally doing. There's no milk / not enough milk until 3 to 4 days after birth. That is not true either. You produce colostrum through pregnancy, and then once you have your baby, that is that yellowy kind of stuff that you get. You barely get any. You think it's not enough, but colostrum is so high in calories, nutrients, and all of that it's enough for your newborn. Your newborn stomach is like literally that big, and by the time they're like a month old, it grows to the size of that. I read that in an article. I don't have the article with me, so I don't know what it's called, but yeah. So you are definitely producing enough. Don't worry about your colostrum. Don't think, oh my gosh, they're not getting enough. I barely have anything coming out. If you pump in the hospital and you barely get a couple drops, that doesn't mean anything. You are making enough colostrum. When your milk comes in, a lot of the times, that's too much for your baby at that time. So a lot of people actually produce more than enough milk. They just don't realize it because of the colostrum, and it scares them, pushes them to formula feed and supplement, and that's when we start getting problems. Okay, this last one. If you get an infection, you should stop breastfeeding. That's not true either. There are plenty of antibiotics that can, sorry, the stupid camera. There are plenty of antibiotics that you can take while breastfeeding. I've had, what was that stuff called? I can't remember. But I've taken medication while I was breastfeeding. I've had clogged ducts while I was breastfeeding, and it's all perfectly fine. You just need to talk to your doctor and the pediatrician and figure out what will work for you. So that's the end of my question and answer / myth video for breastfeeding. And I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who sent me questions, and I will be doing my breastfeeding, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but where I post pictures of other people who have breastfed for however long, and I'm going to be posting that sometime next week. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MorganEllenBabe, and ask me questions at ask.fm/MorganBabe. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great August.